because I'm a police officer. What happened?
These guys, they just can't stand women in gaming.
What did they do to you?
They leveled up.
Hey, she cooking, y'all.
Welcome back to the channel, everyone. I keep coming back to how all of this has been framed as targeted harassment against Sweet Baby Inc. It's just insane how this is being called Gamergate 2.0 when it's really just about some no-name, ho-hum narrative consultancy group. Like, Sweet Baby Inc. is supposedly not that big of a deal. They're not that important. If you're against them, if you're against the games that they've worked on, you're a conspiracy theorist because they're not making games woke. They're just polishing up scripts. And if there are developers out there who want authenticity and lifting up marginalized voices in their games, then they just go to Sweet Baby Inc. for that. And all of the backlash against them is about how they're putting black people in games and LGBTQ people in games, when that's not it. The list was not made because Cabrutus and the people who joined the list, it wasn't about, yeah, I don't want black people in games. I don't want gay people in games. It was about, this is how they impose their political agenda, their activist agenda in games. They've said it themselves. There's clips of Kim Belair, the co-founder of Sweet Baby Inc., saying that she talked to devs who originally went to her to say, hey, look, we want some help on writing dialogue or insight into this French woman that we've created in the game. You're a woman. We want your insight on this. And instead of her saying, okay, so you got this French woman. Okay, let me help you with that. She goes, why don't you make her Korean instead? And they go, no, she's already French, but we can do better than that. So that's the thing. That's what it means that they make games woke, because it's not about diversity. If they see a game full of white people, they're going to make one of those characters, at least one of those characters, black. And it doesn't matter if it's a game full of Norse gods. They're going to make one or two or three of those characters black. They're going to make them gay. They're going to make the women unattractive on purpose to defeat the male gaze. This isn't about being addicted to porn. Finding a woman attractive has nothing to do with porn. The fact that porn exists is because people find women attractive. That's why. It's not this thing where I never thought, like, there was this stupid ass tweet when Sweeney blew up the weekend of Saturday Night Live. And there were a lot of GIFs and clips of her bountiful boobs all over the place. And I've been on Sweet Baby Sweeney. I've been on Sydney Sweeney for a while now because I wanted her to be Sue Storm. But it was great to see her getting some shine. But anyway, so the thing is, though, there were literally tweets from people saying, oh my God, all these porn addicts on Twitter. It's like, finding a woman with a nice rack, hot and attractive, has nothing, again, to do with porn. But anyway, so I'm bouncing around because they keep calling it a conspiracy theory to say that what Sweet Baby Inc. does is make games woke. They try to defend Sweet Baby Inc. by saying, oh no, they're just there to polish up scripts. It doesn't make sense that if you're a company, a dev studio, you're made up of artists and technicians and you have a vision. It makes no sense to then go, hey, I'm stuck on a story that I made up. I need to pay some asshole to tell me how to make it better to get me out of this trouble, as opposed to a bunch of you sitting in the room and hashing it out yourselves. Since there's been this environment over the past 10 years where you have all these Cancelpigs come into, social media telling you that you can't be a straight white man and write about a black woman, but you need to have the black woman in the game or in your comic book or whatever. So that means you need to hire a black woman to write that character. And you start forcing out all the straight white men who actually have talent, who actually care about this stuff. They need to be forced out so that marginalized voices can be seen and heard or whatever. They act like it's a conspiracy theory, even though anybody can see with their own eyes what they're doing. Like I said, if you're going to put a black person in a game now or a comic book, you need to consult with Sweet Baby Inc. or other sensitivity reader type groups before you can tell the story. Because if you don't, they're going to complain that the voice is not authentic. And you can't make the black woman attractive. You can't. You can't make a woman attractive, period, because male gaze, or when they say this thing about realistic looking women, there's definitely a component to all of this that is about woke. Woke is not good. Woke doesn't mean, oh, I'm putting diversity in a game and it's a good thing because it's uplifting black and brown people. It literally means, if it's the whole point of the list, avoid Sweet Baby Inc. because you know what you're going to get. The way that you can tell that somebody has like their opinion on Twitter. If they have pronouns in their bio, you know what that means. If they have the mental illness haircut, you know who they are. You know what their opinions are. You know, I showed that picture of 3 of the people who worked on Suicide Squad. All of them. Like I said, if you were a real company and you really cared about the quality of your game, you would not hire these people. You would look at them, all 3 of them, all 3 of these women. You would just look at their hairstyles and go, there's absolutely no way that I would have these women working on a game that's supposed to be made for men. The target audience is men. And their whole thing, their whole deal is, you know, Sweet Baby Inc. activists is stop catering to straight white men, even though that's your target audience, even though these are the majority of people who love this geek stuff, who love this superhero stuff. And now, as a black man, I'm put in the position where, you know, you got me looking like Steven from Django Unchained, and I have to defend the white man like, oh no, please don't do this to Paul Massa. He ain't bad. He ain't like that no more. When I thought the whole point about racism was we're supposed to look past the color of a person's skin. We're not supposed to profile them based on the color of their skin. Now, look, I'm sorry, but activists, Cancelpigs, have a uniform now. So you can profile them simply by looking at their hair color, simply by looking at their hair style, simply by looking at pronouns and their bio. You know who they are. You know where they're coming from if they do any of that. They are virtue signalers. They hate the common tropes in geek stuff. And they hate it to the point where they shouldn't even be working in this. Like, there should not be this many women working on Spider-Man, Wolverine, Batman, Justice League. They should not be working on this because you know they're feminists. You know that they're obsessed with their identity and their sexuality. They are obsessed with white men to the point where they don't even want white men to be in gaming. But me, as a black man, again, I have to suffer too, alongside the straight white man who you're trying to go after, because I love Spider-Man. I love Superman. I love Batman. You know, I made this joke before because I made this joke on either your boy Zach video or a community post where I was like, I already identify with these characters. I don't need representation like that. People who come to this stuff, I said it before, we're not coming to these spaces because we need to be seen. That's not the point of this. You know, I'm not a hostage to the white man because I love Spider-Man and Superman and Batman. I'm not going to feel better about myself because you've made Miles Morales. That doesn't mean anything to me. If Miles Morales was a cool character on his own with his own name and own identity, that'd be cool. I'd like that. But they don't want to put time and effort into popularizing Static again or making Icon movies. They don't want to do that. When the great thing about Icon when it first came out was it's called Icon and he's basically Black Superman in a way, but the story was really about a 15-year-old black girl, Rocket. It was really her story, but they were slick enough to call it Icon. So you come to it thinking it's about Icon, Black Superman, but it's really about this cool black chick, Rocket. Diversity and inclusion to them means get rid of the white heroes. If you have black women in it, you know the black women are going to be ugly, they're going to be lesbian, and they're going to talk down to any of the white men in it. You're going to have to put up with their tropes, which you can see coming from a mile away. My whole point is now that to avoid most AAA games because you already know they're all compromised. You can call this a conspiracy theory all you want. But the real conspiracy theory is calling this Gamergate 2.0. Because again, the list wasn't made to target Sweet Baby Inc. People, this is about not spending your money on stuff that you know is made by people who don't have talent, who only have a political agenda, who are trying to eradicate white men. And again, I'm black. There are gay people out there, there are Latin people out there who love this stuff too. We're all collateral damage who our favorite heroes, people we've grown up with, the characters we like, We've lost them now because of all these women, all these trans people, all these people with an agenda, all these activists that are working in these hobbies now, in comic books and superhero films and video games. You know, we're all suffering because we've got the dumbest people now put in charge of entertaining us. And their only objective is to eradicate the straight white men in the hobby. And then again, as a black person, I'm not being served by this. I'm jumping around all over the place. So I forgot to finish what I was going to say about your boy Zach. So I remember leaving a comment recently on either his video or community post talking about representation and seeing yourself. And I'm like, the thing is, with all the black, brown, gay people who come to this stuff. We don't need to see ourselves because we already see ourselves. We already feel represented. I see myself in Spider-Man, in Superman, in Green Arrow, in Kitty Pryde. You know, especially Kitty Pryde because she's always screaming the N-word at everybody. So I definitely, I definitely see myself in her. The main reason why I'm doing this video, again, is I've said it before. Everybody knows this. We see how disingenuous these game journals are, how Sweet Baby Inc. is, how Chris Kindred is at this moment baiting people. He is baiting Dragon Ball Z and Akira Toriyama fans. He's still baiting people who are following the Sweet Baby Inc. Steam detected list, calling them Nazis. He's still doing everything he can to bait people into attacking him and his co-workers, trying to get people to attack them so that they can keep building up this Gamergate 2.0 narrative. They're making this about radicalized white men who are trying to get Trump voted again and all this stuff. You know, they're completely ignoring the actual marginalized voices that they claim to speak for. They've been doing this forever. They're cynical. They're hateful. And everybody keeps pointing out, you keep defending Sweet Baby Inc. and you're making this about Gamergate 2.0 and you're making this about radicalized, far right radicals and Nazis attacking them. But you never mention that this all started because of that sociopath, Chris Kindred, who tried to get this man's personal account banned simply for saying, I'm not going to buy games that were made by Sweet Baby Inc. And they never mention it. None of them mention it. In none of their articles did they ever say that. And so somebody on Twitter said, because people kept saying this and they're showing the receipts of what Chris Kindred did. And somebody goes, oh, they just made a list of games that Sweet Baby Inc. made. That's nothing like a list of Jews in 1930s Germany. This false equivalency, these straw man arguments where you're comparing a list of games that people are being told, hey, I recommend you don't buy this because Sweet Baby Inc. worked on it, and you know how they are. You've seen the pattern. We're looking at stuff that they worked on, God of War Ragnarok, Alan Wake 2, Spider-Man 2 Electric Boogaloo, and the latest fiasco, Suicide Squad, which is probably the worst of all the games that they've worked on so far, at least the big AAA games that they've worked on so far. We don't recommend this. Don't buy it. Ignore these people. They've somehow equated that with rounding up Jews in Nazi Germany. Somebody was even saying about the harassment. What about all the YouTubers who are making videos about Sweet Baby Inc.? That's not harassment. That's criticism. You're going to get called out. People are going to tell everybody how they've acted, and they're going to warn everybody that don't buy their games. Don't support developers and publishers who keep working with these people. Because this is not about black people in games. It's not about trans people in games. It's about taking big properties that a lot of people like, that know what they want from these games. And you have people like Sweet Baby Inc. coming in saying, no, that's not what you want, is wrong. I don't like it. So I'm going to change it. And if you don't like it, you're a bad person. And if you call me out, I'm going to say you're targeting me. When again, this is not targeted harassment. This is literally people saying, avoid Sweet Baby Inc. We're boycotting you. Boycotting you is not a target. It's the opposite of a target. And they keep saying Gamergate 2.0. They keep gaslighting us. They keep trying to bait us into responding to them so that they can further push this narrative about far-right extremists and about Trump, because they know what they're doing is wrong. They know they don't have a true leg to stand on.
They leveled up.